Hello and welcome to day 2 of this PHP web framework vlog series. Sorry I haven't done a video in a long time, and I'm gonna make sure I do videos. That's all I can say really. I can try and make excuses, but I am just gonna get back to it because I really do enjoy these videos. I know the community is enjoying these videos, so it's like a win-win. So I'm just gonna try my best to do them. So in the previous video, the first video, just sort of explain what the framework was, but also I want to say I'm sorry that I didn't actually put the database schemas or how to create the database, the tables for the framework. The schemas are now available on the GitHub page now in a database schemas folder. I exported them in all the different formats that it allows me to do. Some of them are empty, just, I don't know, for whatever reason you might want them in that format, as it can be exported by PHPMyAdmin. But as I say in the README, SQL is the recommended one, because if we go to the SQL, it has the schemas for creating all the different databases. I wiped the databases beforehand, so you wasn't just adding random data that you didn't want. So these are the databases that, the tables that we have in the PHP web framework database at the moment. I know this is going to increase, especially when we get onto the task of creating forums and a community system. So I'll export more database schemas then. So another thing, I've changed the theme of brackets on here. I quite like it, but if it's hard to see, because it is quite bright with the red, the yellow and the purple, if it doesn't come out very well on video, let me know and I will change it. If it's fine, either let me know, that'd be great, or if you don't say anything, I'm just going to assume that it's okay. I'm sure it should be fine. Okay, let's get to some coding. First time I'm going to do some coding in this series. So the first task I want to do is figure out background image for CSS. And what this is, I found a problem in the framework. If I go to the temp file was always something that I can get rid of all of this, because this was some old test code. All of this, honestly this is all old test code as well. So the problem I have found is if you try and set a background image via CSS and the image is locally stored on your server, whether it's on localhost, on GoDaddy or HostGator or 123Red, doesn't matter where, I can't seem to use it as a background. But use it as an image source, it seems to be fine, because for the most part, I haven't set it in JavaScript, but in PHP, because I'm using like the path to thingy-majiggy, that seems to be a-okay. So I need to figure out how to do it as a background image, because I don't use background images that much. I know a lot of developers do. I think I should start using them a bit more, but it's definitely a common feature in websites, background images, and not just having an image source. So it's something that needs to be fixed. So let me actually just show you the problem. So if I just put it's a div really, it doesn't really matter what it is. I'm not going to put any text in here. I'm going to assign an ID of test background image. I'm going to copy that. And if we go down, I'm going to close the classes folder for now. Close the configs, elements I can close, libs I can close. Okay, in here, if we go to the index CSS, plop it there. And if I were to put a bracket, background dash image, URL, and in here, if I put an image, first of all, I'm just going to put an image that I can get off Google. So if I type in that, actually I fancy doing a Star Wars image. Star Wars images, see what we got. Okay, Rogue One's coming out soon, so let's just do this official Rogue One poster. Actually, no, this wasn't the Rogue One poster. I believe this was, because obviously it's got it's got Ray, it's got Finn, it's got Luke's got Kylo Ren. I think this may have been the Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, it says right there. Yeah, that's was one of the posters they used. I remember now because I was actually there volunteering. So if I copy and paste that, whack it into here. It should work if... Okay, it's gone to the page. Let me inspect it, see what's happening. So if we go to here, I've got some sort of div. For a dot instead of a hash because it's an ID. Refresh. Okay, again. Okay. Need some height to it. So I'm going to put a height value of 200 pixels. It doesn't really matter what it is. Refresh. Okay, it's repeating. Don't care about that. That's not a problem. So okay, that works fine. Now let's essentially do the same by saving the image onto our server, which is this local host. So in public images, I'll just clump it there. I'm going to call it Star Wars. It's a .jpeg file. So naturally we would do something like, so if we're here, the index.php, we do something like img / it was called Star Wars.jpg, Star Wars.jpg, save that. Refresh, it's no longer appearing. Okay, so that's the image it's trying to get. If you go on here, you can see it's going to localhost, PHP Web Framework, public, CSS, because that's where the CSS folder is. So what we need to do is go up one directory. So you go edit the CSS into the public folder, save that. Okay, apparently that works. So weird. Okay, that fixed a problem, because apparently that works. Because when I was trying to do it, like I'll explain to you, if I was doing this and I went to image / Star Wars.jpg, do I even have the .ht? Got the .ht access files here. Are they properly configured? PHP Web Framework, public. Okay, the PHP, the HT access seems to, okay, that's really weird, because I was actually, the way I came across this bug, I haven't tried it locally, I only tried it on an actual server. I was doing a website for a client, and I originally had the imagery on Cloudinary, which is a CDN, our CDN, and the traffic was increasing. And we've only got a free account. For us, the free account is more than enough, and we obviously noticing the increase in traffic on their website. Therefore, it was taking quite a bit of bandwidth from our monthly allowance. And I thought, okay, I need to obviously rectify this, because we got more clients that we're going to be creating websites for, and we can't put them on there. We put them on the hosting, and we put it back on the hosting, and there was one image that was used on the website that was sort of like a background of a side navigation bar. And I thought, okay, let me see how I can do this. I essentially did what we did here, and it didn't work. I'm gonna have to go back to it, because it honestly seems to be okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll do that in my own time, because it's a client website as well. I'm going to create a new section. I'm going to call this needs to be tested. Awaiting. No, I'm going to put testing. Testing. And this will be in between these two. Okay. Apparently that's fine. So abstract validation, so it can be used for variables and other data. So if I just go back to the temp file, honestly, get rid of this. And if we go to the image, I rather delete stuff as I go along, simply because I don't want the framework to get clogged up, otherwise it'll just be more maintenance at a later date. And is there anything else? CSS. Get rid of this. Make sure that's still all okay. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna look at abstracting the validation. Okay, so if we go to the validation class, validate, because at the moment, if you call the check method, it requires a source, and this source essentially is get or post. Because I'll show you where the source, like the source is used there. Technically, it could be an array. Actually, no, source. Actually, you could pass it as an array. Because if you did, I'm just trying to think. Because what this, could this work if I were to, instead of saying source, if I posted it as an array? Okay, let's do something. So if we go to, I'll use an existing file. So if we go to the app, we go to the view of login, there's no ridiculous amount of code, so we'll reuse this. So it's here where we're setting the original source. Here are the conditions that this needs to be validated against, and this is just the names for it. So if I were to create an array here called $temp array with the value of $temp array. I think now what I'm going to do is do it like this. Equals nothing, and for the password I'm going to set it to some value. Now if I plump this into here, what my theory is, if I were to okay, now let's go into the login page. If I click login, username D is required. Actually, that's a fault. Right there. That's a fault right there in the login script. What I've done is, not in the login script, in the this part here. Is there some sort of else? No. So what I've done is, if remember, $remember. What I actually realistically need to do, because remember should only be using a limited number of spaces, so it's used there, that's just the front end, that's just checking it. Okay, so it's only using these 3 places. So if I were to actually plump this outside, actually if I were to put this here, close the array, get rid of this code, and now that should be better. So else, okay, that's just actually There's no point me. Yeah, I don't like this method anyway. So if it's true, I should set dollar remember equals true, else dollar remember equals false. Save that, refresh. So if I click login, fine. If I click login without the remember me selected, it's also fine, which is good. Okay, that's good. That was just sort of simple bug. So if, yeah, that is fine. Okie dokie. So that is all good actually. And to confirm that it's working correctly, what I'm going to do is echo a remember new line, copy that, so if I click login, remember. If I click it without it, do not remember, remember. Okay, that is fantastic now, and now I can get rid of that. But this actually seems to be fine, as long as I'm passing in an array. And I wonder if I were to change this instead of, okay, let's put some more validation on here. I think it's called min. So if we go to validate, actually this is unique. Actually no, even unique can exist, we can still use, because you still might just be checking it on the variable in like your own array instead of the post data array or the get data array. So yeah, there's no reason why we can't still use this. So it's min, max, matches, we don't want that. I'm going to do min and max. So if we go to login, min equals 2, max equals 4. So if I put in nothing there and I click login, it says username is required. Actually, let me get rid of that. So this will give me proper errors. A little bit of context why I had D and 8 there. It was just when I was originally doing the framework quite a while, a few months ago, I was just making sure that I was getting the right sort of name that I was passing in back instead of, let's say, being this one. That's all it was. But I've used it so many times since then, whether it's been in testing or even in production, that I've pretty much confirmed that it is working. So if I refresh, login, if I change this to 1 character, let's just reload the page, login, username must be a minimum of 2 characters, login, user does not exist. Okay, that's fine, because obviously this validation has passed blah 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 blah. If I do 4 characters, this should still work. User does not exist. So if validation is passed, then it's actually trying to, check the user. If I try to add another one, this will say must be a maximum of 4 characters. Okay, so that's fine, as long as you're putting it as an array. I wonder what happens instead of putting username if I put 0 instead. Undefined offset. I wonder if I would put 0 and change this to 0. Now refresh. Okay, that's fine. It needs to be the exact way that we've set it, but that's not a problem. I'm happy with that overall result. So yep, I'm overall happy with it. So yeah, we can change this back to a dollar underscore post, change this to username, password, password is required, user does not exist. Okay, so that is definitely good. It seemed like it was already there. Abstract validation complete. So the next task is a commenting system and forum. I want to get a few of the small tasks done before I go into that. Google Analytics file. I'm going to whack this one in and run code files for the start and end of the body. And what, like, these two sort of link together, and they're running the code files for the start and the end of the body. If you've used some sort of CMS, which is a content management system, before, whether it's WordPress, Shopify, Blogger, whatever, there's usually some sort of like text area where you can post some, the intended code is JavaScript code, and it actually plops it into like the start of the body or maybe at the end of the body. So what I'm thinking of is creating two files, because the code in there could get quite big, two different files where you can just put your JavaScript code in there and you'll go to the start or the end of the body, because there are quite a few frameworks out there and libraries that either require or recommend you to include like a snippet of code, like Google Analytics, for example, recommend that you put the code at the start of your body. Some people say put it at the end of the body so the rest of the page can be a great priority for loading, and then the user can see, and then the analytics can start. Whichever way, it's usually at the start or the end of the body. And instead of you having, as the developer, to go into, let's close this, into elements, header, and whack it here, realistically, for the most part, I want to leave the header and footer out of the developer's hands. Not that they shouldn't go in there. If they want to go in there, that's fine. If they want to modify, extend it, that's fine. But generally speaking, it should really just be core improvements. If they're just like adding some body code, that really should either be in a view, or if it requires to be on every single page, in that sort of little extra file. So if we add footer.php, for example, we could add some code here as well. So what I am thinking is, okay, if we have elements, I think it should be as an element file. Should I call it a sub file? I think so. I'm going to create a new folder, call this JavaScript, and for this I'm going to create a new file, and this is going to be start underscore, however I've done the rest of the naming convention. I think for the most part it's all just underscore. So if I do start underscore body, start of body underscore JS. Now I'm going to put .php. And actually I'm actually thinking, should I do it as a PHP file or as a JavaScript file? If I do the JavaScript file, it obviously limits it to JavaScript only. Could do it as a PHP and then have something like script, like so, and then you could say, or JavaScript code goes into here. You could have another thing called like, what was I gonna do? Style. And this could be any particular CSS that you need to have go there, but actually I'll keep this separate. So I'm going to call this start of body JS, copy that, and I'm also going to do a end of body JS, so new file, end of body.js. So in here, I'm going to do an alert. Now I'm going to do a console log start body console is used before it was defined. Nah, that shouldn't be a problem. So if I were to now go to the header, and if I go to here, I do script. I always forget what it is. The src. I can never remember. I will just copy and paste. Okay, so that's all it is. So $path. Okay, I know what to do here. So if I do how have I included the favicon? Require sub favicon. I'm going to be sub JavaScript source equals I bet this should have a closing tag sub /JavaScript /start of body.js. Save that. And now if I inspect the element, go to console, refresh, uncaught thingy-majiggy. See what this is saying. So that's where that file is. But what about it is making it mess up. So if I refresh now, we get no errors. If I whack that back in, we do get errors. Okay, that's interesting. So unexpected token on start of body.js file. Unexpected token. It's doing it for actually. I see what it's trying to do. Where it's trying to include it from. It's trying to do it from public, home. So instead, what I need to do is go to header. I need to do echo out sonar /path. You can either use the prepend route or the two, because I'll actually show you what's going on in both. Go to classes. If we go to path, we got a change website title, which I've already showed you, and then a prepend route, which just prepends the route. Because the way we've configured this framework, it does require a few different ways of doing things, but overall it is an improvement over just doing it from scratch. If we go to path, the path essentially just uses the prepend route, and the reason I did like this was I really actually should have the prepend route in the path section, I guess. It's not, is it really a path? Yeah, it is a path method. I'll look at that in a second. The reason I did like this because I'm thinking if I have other methods that are using the prepend route, but they also add a bit of their own sort of, let's say, file path, and then maybe they take a location, we could sort of extend this sort of method, like duplicate this method, extend it. That was the thinking behind it. At the moment, obviously, the method is the same, but I prefer path 2, honestly, instead of prepend route. Prepend route just doesn't seem very user friendly. Actually, I'll whack that in here as well. Add a card, change or prepend route to path 2. And for this, assign it to myself. Label is, I'll whack an orange label on it, and that yellow. Don't know why I'm using yellow. Should really be using orange label. So I'm actually going to start using orange labels instead of yellow. I'm going to leave everything else as yellow as it is. We'll do that next. Oh, that's fine though. Did have a message. So let's just see how much time we've got this. Okay, it's only been half an hour. Good, good, good. So we was on running the code file. We need to, in here, if we got the root, we need to cut this, whack this into here, but we need to go up 1, then go into elements, save that, refresh. Okay, that's working now because it is properly requiring the, nope, that's not the one, sorry. It is properly requiring the right file. Actually, plus also what I want to do is add this version here. So if debug, actually that's not, that's a ridiculously inefficient way of doing it every single time. Okay, so we've just found a way of speeding up this process. So I'm going to whack this here, get rid of this, sort out the code, and now I can just use version now. And now the reason I was doing it was, it's not that it was inefficient, because it was linked to the file. So what I'm going to do is just if file equals that, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do else $version equals just nothing, $version, and I need to put question mark, v equals, save that, refresh, and as you can see we are getting the time on our file now. That's because debug is enabled. So if we were to go to, this is confirmed, we go to core, config, website config, change this to a false. It's got v equals, well, nothing, so that seems like okay to me. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it a slightly different way. I don't like that, having that question mark v there, if we don't need it. So what I'm going to do, instead of setting it to time, I'm going to set it to time and question v equals like this, and otherwise it'll just equal nothing. So this instead of having it like this, if we do this now, because it's not in debug mode, it doesn't have anything added to it, still works. But if we go to the website config, refresh, go to there, and we get the actual timed version now, which is increasing every time we refresh. Okay, that's all good, that's all good stuff. So yep, that's obviously, it is getting the right path, because at the end of the day, if you wasn't even going to be printing at that start of body fit code, save, copy that. Okay, end of body. This shouldn't be really difficult at all. I should just be able to copy and paste this for the most part into, we go to the footer just after this bad boy. Pardon me. And now need to change this to end of body, refresh consoles. Okay, we didn't get end of body. We did get something else though. What happened there? Okay, should get end of body now, and it's got the appropriate version because we're in debug mode. Okie dokie. So yeah, that's fine then. So for if you want to plump any code into here, this will run at the start of the body and at the end of the body now. Pretty simple stuff. Thinking, should I do one for the CSS as well? Because at the end of the day, you might want, I'll put it on hold for now, see it like having a end and start of body CSS file, because that's a lot rarer than a JavaScript file requirement or JavaScript snippet requirement. So I'll wait and see what the community has to say about it, my own experiences when I'm developing websites, and yeah, we can go from there on that one. So for Google Analytics, I'm going to say that's done, because instead of having a separate file, because they give you a snippet which could change in the future, so I'd rather have it like this, we can just copy and paste a snippet into here instead of doing all that other stuff and putting it within the header yourself and making this look all ugly, because this is looking nice and neat in a way. Is that properly indented? Yeah, sort of. Okay, so we need to change all prepend route to path. The easiest way to do that, I would say, is to go to miscellaneous, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to put it in path. I still feel that this method could be useful on its own, because at the end of the day, this just actually, no, it is essentially the same method as this, but I think having prepend route on its own is better. I'm going to rename that to capitals. I do prefer methods as capitals. So if I save that, save the miscellaneous file, and sort of just see where start getting errors really. Okay, we've got errors because obviously that did not work. So if I go to index, so instead of path, okay, path 2 is good, path 2 is good. The issue lies for this file with the path class. So let's say miscellaneous, I need to do $this Okay. Let's have a look what is moaning about this. That is how you use, yeah, that's how you use this. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I think because it's a static, you might need to do sonar / path : prepend root. Still doesn't work. Still does not like that at all. I'm just going to see what would happen if I whack this code. Actually, just copy and paste it into here. Also, go back to the index file. It's a lowercase t. And now let's make this an uppercase T. This one an uppercase T. And this one an uppercase T. This, well, just does not want to work whatsoever. But saying that, there is a bunch of other code in here that uses it. So let me go into config, see if there's anything to do with path in here. Nothing of what we're looking for. Nothing of path self : that's what I'm looking for, self. So if I go to, that shouldn't fix it, but let me just change the path to self. So if I go back, if I go to DB, and I'll have a look at path. Nope. I'll see if miscellaneous isn't being included in here. Email. Nope. Path. Nope. See, I don't really need to check for miscellaneous, because if path is being used, then it should be fine. But I really should change it to a capital call anyway. Can't see it in here. Nope, that seems fine. Okay, that, yeah, shouldn't be a problem. We're getting the config file in here, so that shouldn't pose an issue. Recapture. Don't think this is doing anything with miscellaneous. Redirect. I'm going to change this to path. Not too sure if we're even using this file anymore. I'll have to check that out at a later date. Redirect to actually, yes, we are. We are using this. So we use this quite a bit actually. So session, path, miscellaneous, nope. Time, no, that's definitely not using it. Token, nope. User, possibly. Redirected, but apart from that, no. And validate shouldn't be. Actually, in the redirect, this should actually include path then. Still don't see what that I should have fixed it yet. So if I go back to index, so what I'm going to do is just sort of revert the miscellaneous file back and go to path revert this back to sonar / miscellaneous : Is this messing something up? Okay, this is like sort of annoying now. So let me just undo this entire file. Miscellaneous, I've undone all of that. Okay, so that's okay. Let's change this to a capital T. That's still okay. So if we go to miscellaneous and cut this out, that's where it breaks. That's fine, because we're going to be whacking in the code in here. So this should just be able to get it from here. So I should just be able to do path. Why can I not get it from here? Why am I unable to call this method that I know of actually? It could potentially be something to do with this, but I've got the config file there. Let me just comment this out, see if that's okay. That wasn't conflicting with anything. What I'm actually going to do is just literally return the location. Is it even calling this? When I do put self, I don't return it. Okay, that didn't fix anything. But what happens if I just do that? I can't see why that would not work. Why would returning 323 just not work? Again, let's just undo it all the way. Change that to capital T. This issue is proving to be a more daunting task than originally imagined. This is essentially what we're meant to be getting from it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to path, comment this out. You should no longer it doesn't actually return anything, that's fine. What if I were to just return a random string? Random string works. What if I were to return what if I were to cut this out? Ooh. When I cut it out of here, it messes up. Doesn't matter what I've changed in here. So let me just revert the. Actually, no. I'll leave it at 3. So something from here it doesn't like, and I'm gonna guess. If I go to init, go to files to include, nope. Libs to include, nope. Nope. And let's check in cookie config. db config. Okay, meta config, security config. No, I'm not going to show that because again that has certain like IDs and secrets. Yeah, I'm positive it's in here. So if we have a look, are we using miscellaneous at all anywhere here? Would appear not. Bar that. Header. I'm using miscellaneous there. If I change this to path, colon, 2. Actually, should I? I was thinking, in this instance, we're not going to something, we're prepending the root. So, what I'm going to do is just leave it as prepend root. Check out miscellaneous, check it out in here, miscellaneous, change that to path. Change this to a capital T. Make sure that's all good as well. Favicon. Woohoo. Some nice bad boys here. Change this to a capital P. So it's because there was a bunch of places that was already being used. And I wonder, this should still not work because again, one, this method is not in the other file yet. So let me whack it in here. That's more like it. Change this capital P. And I'm not going to save it yet. This should obviously still not work. But if we go to Favicon, there's something I was going to test out before I fixed everything. What was I going to test out? I'm just trying to think now. Did feel like it was pretty important to test out. Miscellaneous, prepend, root. I can't honestly think of it. So refresh, change this to a capital P, change this to a capital P, fine in here, so good in here, it's all good. Again I want to prepend root, and I think certain places prepend root will be better, and I think those places will be when you're not like going somewhere. I think when like an ahref, its purpose is to take the user somewhere when that href is initiated, whether it's on the same page or whether it's on a different page, whatever it is it's to take the user to that page. So I think path 2 sounds more intuitive, whereas path prepend root is more intuitive for this, even though for now it does the same thing. So if I go to path, actually gotta save the header file, well the path file, save that, refresh. I know what I wanted to sort out. I wanted to enable, make sure what debugging mode was enabled. Can't remember. Debug. Go to init. Yeah, no, actually everything's enabled. Good. Okay, so on line 28 of path, something wrong with it. this right here. I should just be able to do prepend root this. Nope, dollar, remember it's not C. Refresh, not object context. Okay, so if I were to do, I bet you I can do path. That works. Do a refresh this, so any undo I can do is overwritten. I think I got to a point where it's okay actually. So if I were to do sonar backslash, that's fine. No, it isn't, because that messed up. And I bet you if I were to do self, because that's fine, and I prefer having the backslash there anyway. So, okay, that's good. It's been fixed. Remove all closing PHP tags. What's the sort of time we got at the moment? So all good. Yeah, the remove all the closing PHP tags. What I was reading online a while back was, if you have, let's say, PHP tags like so, and it ends with PHP and then you would be closing it. Don't close it, because if you have any empty, let's say, lines like this, it'll read it as HTML. Potentially if you like include it or require it as a file. So it said just don't close any PHP file. Apparently it's a good practice that's recommended everywhere. So if I just go through every single file that's PHP, get rid of the end tags, go to controller, and now go to models, go to extra changelog. Okay, that doesn't have a closing PHP tag right at the end, so they're okay. These are the ones that will be fine, because the last bit is HTML. If you do that yourself, that's sort of like your own fault. And where was we? We was on policy. So if we go to add user details, that's fine. That's fine. That is not fine. That looks a-okay. Log out. Register. Fine. Temp. Nothing in there. User. Get rid of that. Change password. Fine. Forget password. Fine. Reset password. Okay, let me get rid of this then. Update. So go to config now. So these are all the classes files. This should still be working. Shouldn't have messed anything up really. Okay, that's fine. That's all good. And we're in the config. Cookie. The database file. Email.php. Error. Actually, I'll rather this be indented so it's in line. And now this was error. Get rid of that underscore. I'll leave that for now. Input. Miscellaneous. I think having the change website title method in here is fine. I can't really think of anywhere else to put it based on the current. Could it be in the config? Could be in the config file potentially. Static methods could go into here. Config. For now, I'm going to put in, leave in miscellaneous. It's nice there. Path is fine. Now let's do the recapture file. Redirect. Session. Time. Token. User. Validate. And now let's go through the configs. DB config, meta config, security config, and I just ended up showing you my security config. It's not good. Hopefully you don't do anything with it. I hope you do not. You know what? Okay, I'll go back into the security one. So this is the site key and secret key, and I'm only going to be using this for the testing. I'm not going to be using this for anything other than sort of localhost or any sort of testing. So if you see this, hopefully this should be fine. Hopefully. Okay, so if you go to files to include, init, libs to include, built-in libs, db underscore backups doesn't have anything at the moment. That's for like a future sort of function that allows you to just using like one sort of script or one sort of button and back stuff up. Okay, that's fine. Header, all good. Favicon, all good. End of body, that's fine. Libs, this is nothing to do with me, so I'm not even going to touch their library files. Errors 404. Index. And now I think I'm done. I forgot about templates. Do have an email template in there. It's not much to look at, but if there is any such thing. Okay, so good. Panel session config, I didn't save. So if I refresh that now, should be a-okay. So if I were to go to register F, it will take me back to the home page because the page does not exist. I should be able to do the things that I want to do. Okay, that seems a-okay. Now, so removing or closing PHP tags. Add to Sonar testing domain. Again, that was just like something for me. Actually, before we go, to see what other quick sort of things that we can do in this video. Okay, the only thing is random paragraph generator. We'll start the commenting system on the forum in the next day, which will be probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Okay, so random paragraph generator. So this was just going to be lorem ipsum, maybe integrate API, maybe. So let's have a look at random paragraph PHP random paragraph generator. Let's see what we get. See if there's actually some sort of framework out there. If there is, that'd be great. Not comment. Okay, for now, it's going to use lorem ipsum, which is Latin for pain itself. Lorem ipsum. Where is the actual lorem ipsum? Do not have it on here. Quite a bit actually. Copy that. So if we go to, this will definitely be a miscellaneous method. So put public static function, and this is going to be generate random para. No. Gen lorem ipsum para graph. It's going to take no parameter, and this is going to return actually what would the HTML have generated? It looks the same. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this on a new line like so. I'm going to put a couple of break lines. Okay, that's all good. So I'm going to put this generate lorem ipsum paragraph. That's spelled paragraph correctly? No, it's with a TH. Oh, PH, sorry, graph. So if I go back to this, and now to make sure that's working, if I go to my, start closing these files up, there's quite a few files here. So let's start closing most of this up. We go to JavaScript sub elements CSS. Close that. Close that. Close that, close that, and now if I go to temp, it's always a good place to start, and I do PHP sonar / miscellaneous ::, generate lorem ipsum paragraph, echo, and now if I go to temp, okay, it's generated the lorem ipsum paragraph. Okie dokie, but that's a whole bunch of it. So I actually want two methods. One to generate the just like a paragraph like so, and then one to generate lorem ipsum long. Long text, short text, short text. So if I copy and paste that into temp and prompt that there, we just get the short text, which is one paragraph. And let's confirm the styling of this. Ooh. Actually, no, that looks fine. Refresh, and now we get the sort of 4 paragraphs, I guess 5 paragraphs. So that's just an easy way for us to be able to generate just some paragraphs during testing. That's its entire purpose. It doesn't go beyond that. Now I'll leave it like so, because this code is on separate lines, so it's easier to indent compared to this one. So okay, we've done a reasonable amount in here. Like I said, tomorrow or the next day we'll be starting the comment system and the forum, and yeah, it's going quite nicely there. Okay, yeah, after this video I'm going to upload the code to GitHub, so if you want to have a look, contribute to it, whatever you want, feel free to check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, feel free to post them on our education platform, sonarlearning.co.uk. There'll be links in the description to the GitHub page and to our education platform. If you did like this vlog video, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. And well, that is it really. So yeah, thank you for watching and I will see you very soon.